Audemars Piguet are one of the biggest watchmaking brands in the watch world, known for their methods of craftsmanship and unique designs. The Swiss brand are relatively exclusive, with their releases being fairly limited. One of their most well-known and elegant lines is the Royal Oak, in which fans and enthusiasts have seen some of the most amazing pieces, part of the Royal Oak collection. The addition of the Royal Oak Offshore has been interesting, as it has gained some mixed reception, yet most of it is on the positive side. In today's video, I'll be delving into the differences between the Royal Oak and its younger yet bigger brother, the Royal Oak Offshore. Let's get into it. Before I get into the differences, I want to focus on some brief history of the two watches. Starting with the Royal Oak. The first ever Royal Oak was released in 1972, reference 5402 ST. In 1971, AP hired the magnificent watchmaker Gerald Genta to design the brand's first luxury sports watch. Using diving history, Genta was inspired by metal diving helmets, which include the exposed screws. The exposed screws is a feature that people familiarise with Royal Oaks, as it is one of the noticeable parts on the bezel. Why the name Royal Oak? Well, Royal Oak was a name given to many British Navy ships, which is a nautical and sea reference aligning to the diving purpose of the watch. As mentioned earlier, AP are quite limited in the volume of their releases. The first Royal Oak released 1,000 pieces, and despite not being a success at first, they all eventually sold out. The brand released the model in sets of series, so starting with series A, then B, C, finishing with D. The size of the watch was 39mm in diameter, which was large for the era in watchmaking. This watch became an inspiration and admirable model at the time, giving watchmakers and creators new ideas in the luxury watch market. Since then, it has become an icon in horological history. There have been some amazing releases part of the Royal Oak collection. Now, moving on to the Offshore, which is a follow-up or build-on to the Royal Oak. The first Royal Oak Offshore model, reference 25721 ST, was released at Baselworld Fair in 1993, the now called Watches and Wonders, but its release was delayed. The watch was supposed to be released in 1992 to mark the 20th anniversary of the first Royal Oak. The launch of the Offshore was postponed due to the brand's questions surrounding the model. Even Gerald Genta wasn't a huge fan. This was because of concerns surrounding the Offshore's weight and size. Eventually, it was given the green light and the first model was released in 1993. The name stemmed from offshore boat racing, but it never appeared on the first 100 examples of the watch, until the 101st example, which stated Royal Oak Offshore on the caseback. The watch managed to get a nickname of the Beast, which is pretty self-explanatory. Mainly the notable differences are the weight and size, but there are some additions like the materials used. There is a rubber gasket lining between the case and bezel. Also, rubber bracelets are used on some offshores, probably to allow comfort. Lastly, there are ceramic cap pushers for the chronograph feature, giving a much more sportier look. We have two offshores in stock currently here at Time4Diamonds, the Offshore 44mm Platinum Blue Dial and the limited edition Offshore Michael Schumacher, both at £39,995, both very strong and bold pieces. So let's get into the differences between the Royal Oak and the Royal Oak Offshore. Admittedly, there isn't too much separating the two other than the main noticeable differences. Of course, diameters vary, but the main case size of Royal Oaks are 41mm. However, there are some smaller ones such as 37mm and 39mm, whereas the Offshore is 42mm, but there are bigger. The two that are currently sat next to me that we have in stock are 44mm, and there are even bigger, such as the Arnold Schwarzenegger Legacy, which stands at an impressive 48mm. When looking at the thickness of the two watches, the Royal Oak has a thickness of 10.88mm to be exact, and the Offshore has a thickness of 14.9mm. A 4mm thickness increase is going to have a clear difference on your wrist, making the 1mm jump in diameter much more transparent. With the chronograph feature, the subdials are unconventional on the Offshore. On the Royal Oak, the subdials are located at 3, 6 and 9 o'clock as expected. However, the Offshore has subdials placed at 6, 9 and 12 o'clock. There are some models that have the conventional subdial placing, but this unique feature makes the offshore stand out even more than it already does. To summarise both watches, there isn't much really separating the two in a craft sense, mainly in size. In my opinion, it just comes down to what you prefer. Like most situations when buying a watch, the part that is underlooked is the difference in style between the Royal Oak and Offshore. If you are looking for an elegant watch, then I'd say the Royal Oak is for you. If you're looking for a sportier or bolder watch, then I'd say the Offshore is for you. Of course, that doesn't mean to say that you won't find any sporty Royal Oak options or any elegant Offshore options, albeit that may be a struggle. After all, the Royal Oak was the first luxury sports watch of Audemars Piguet. But the Offshore portrays a sportier style, which may be the reason why the Royal Oak is seen as more of a dress watch. But the two Offshores we have in stock here can definitely be used as a dress watch, especially if you are looking to be bold and show off. Overall, they are both excellent models, part of Audemars Piguet, and they will continue to be part of the brand's success, with the Royal Oak collection alone consisting of some of the most in-demand and sought-after pieces. What do you guys think of the two models? What do you guys prefer? Let us know in the comments. And whilst you're down there, it would be massively appreciated if you subscribe to the channel and like this video. Also, be sure to check out some of our other videos. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and we shall see you next time.